the streets of Cincinnati. Welcome to the jungle! Let's go. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle dripping heat, tigers strike the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' who day, time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move crossing on? Stripes. Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange upon 'em, bingo ball 'em, never stop it till the beast of feastin' on 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move on? Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. Sorry, I'm crunching my lozenge right now. If you can hear that on the microphone, I apologize. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the number 5 team in the country. And if you remember what the good old Iceman here said yesterday, that's where I thought we'd be, and I was right for once. Amazing. Now, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. I'm up to 1,415 subscribers. That is awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And if you're watching on YouTube, or Facebook or Twitter, do me a favor. Go to the YouTube channel, Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for notification, and every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the chat crew right there at the YouTube chat, we're doing super chats. So if you guys want to support what I'm doing, I would greatly appreciate it. If you want to make sure your comment is read, give me a super chat. Now, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave, and the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. Sorry, I apologize. I'm a little under the weather today. So every time I talk, I'm having a hard time not coughing. So Josh is cracking up laughing at me now because this is the problem. So this is why we're bringing in my boy Josh. So let's get to Josh. Dude, every time I'm trying to talk, I'm coughing.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but it made me giggle a little bit. Iceman, what's going on, my guy?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Enjoying life. Been kind of all over the place. Just got off with Mo earlier today, and then you here, and then later tonight back on my show for another round.
You're a
So
busy,
happy to
busy
be
man.
here. Oh yeah,
I appreciate you coming on because, like I said, I'm a little under the weather. It's not COVID. It's just stupid seasonal allergy crap that makes it hard to,
Did
talk.
you get through my microphone yesterday? Like when I couldn't even speak. Like is it the same thing? You think I
Yeah.
got it through the microphone?
Mm-hmm.
I
Baby.
swear I didn't see you on Sunday. Like it had to be through the computer.
It had to be.
Had to be.
It just came right through.
There you go.
It just from that screen to that screen.
It's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened.
All right.
So Jeff told me before the show that he thinks that he won't be talking that much and he won't be doing any of that. And he said he thinks he can't do it. Yet during the pre-show, he sounded just fine to me.
Right.
Sounded
Exactly.
fine.
So let's see how this goes. All right. So last night we had the Bearcats basketball, first game under the Wes Miller regime. And I don't know about you, Josh, but that defense reminded me of the old Bearcats.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, they were still a couple drives right down the middle, but nowhere close to what we saw last year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's just a different brand of basketball. And I think when you looked at the preseason rankings for this Bearcats basketball team, you didn't really see them, anywhere near the top. They're definitely not in the top 25, and they were picked to finish, I believe, 7th or 8th in the AAC. So we really got a lot that we weren't expecting from this team. What's up, everybody? But then they came out against an Evansville team that's, really not bad. And Evansville usually, does it really good in their own conference.
Mhm.
But the Bearcats came out and they dominated and they looked like they were having fun out there. And this looked like a team that was wanted to be out there and they looked good and looked like they've been practicing. Looks like
Mhm.
they've been together. It looks like they got chemistry going. And it was impressive to see because usually as UC basketball goes, usually the first couple of games are not good. Usually they aren't, but this one was very, very promising. Holding that Evansville team to 43 points is incredibly promising.
Yeah, I like you said, they look like they're having fun. I saw Mason Madsen out there smiling, having
Oh,
fun with the coach, and we didn't see that a whole lot last year. Now, everybody
no,
who watched my show last year knows I was a Brandon fan, but I mean, he was the coach of my team, so I'm going to be a fan of the coach of my team. Now,
right.
Wes Miller is the coach of my team, so I'm a Wes Miller fan. But I saw something completely different last night, different than anything I saw the 2 years with Brandon. They were all in it together. The defense was, Wes Miller said there's stuff to work on. And Josh, at one point, they were shooting 43 to 46% for 3-point line. That's ridiculous. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen all year long, but that's the way I always put it at the beginning of the season. If this is the jumping off point, then we got a pretty good ways to go, to improve. I mean,
Oh yeah.
as far as getting better, not bad way, good way. And I loved the 7-footers. And the thing is, they were blocking shots and they were doing it without fouling.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were.
that takes talent to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I mean, you just look at it when you compare it to teams of past couple of years. I mean, you had Chris Vogt out there who looked like just a gazelle who had no idea what to do with his own freaking body, and he couldn't block efficiently. Whenever he went up against somebody that was noticeably stronger than Chris Vogt was, he couldn't come down with the board. But these
Mhm.
7-footers and the one because I mean they're the 1-2 shot blocking, the first and the second shot blockers in America. I said that completely wrong. Forgive me, but been a long day.
Mhm.
But that being said, they're playing like they are. Like I expected that. Like that. Okay, yes, they look like the number 1 and the number 2 shot blockers in America right now,
Absolutely.
and they looked physical. They looked powerful. They looked like they owned that board. And that's going to be very important, going down the stretch is being stronger than everybody else. And I think that's a big testament to bringing back Michael. I always butcher his last name, Michael
Renfro.
Renfro.
Yeah.
Bringing him back because I mean he left at when John Brandon was here, and that was a real bad sign because that dude loved UC and he made us, the
Mhm.
monster factory.
Mhm. Mhm.
And for those who don't know,
He's back.
He's a strength and conditioning coach.
Yep.
When Wes Miller came in, he came back.
Mhm.
And he is the reason that we've had a lot of Bearcat teams that have been just stronger
We've
and
been the
more
bullies on the block.
physical.
Yeah.
Bullies on the block. we've been the strongest, most physical team in the AAC, and that's a testament to him. But it's also a testament to Wes Miller's recruiting and his ability to get guys to come here. And you're going to keep seeing that. And the I believe now the Bearcats for the 2023 recruiting class have the 13th recruiting class in the country. That's the highest it's been in
Oh
what,
wow,
5, 6, 7 years.
at least.
It's been a long time since they had a recruiting class that big
Yeah, Matthew
and that
Crabtree
good.
says Mason Batson is such a good catch and shoot guy with dangerous threes, almost Clay Thompson like. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to date myself, but I always he reminds me of back in the day, and I could not stand these guys. It was the Bad Boys of the
Mhm.
Detroit Pistons, and they
Right.
had a guy on there named Vinny the Microwave Johnson, and they called him the Microwave because he come off the bench and he would heat up really really quickly, and that's what Madsen provides for us. And one thing that's cool that I heard Wes Miller say last night that these guys are bought in, like Mikey Saunders, Ice Mike,
Yeah.
deserves to start. I mean, Wes even said
Oh,
that
yeah.
he deserves to start, and Mikey told Wes, "I'll do whatever you want." That's the same
Mhm.
thing with Matson. Matson probably deserves to start, but for this team and for it moving forward, you need guys to come off the bench who can spell the starters and can also make a run and make some shots. So
Oh,
those
yeah.
two, I think, are be very keys for us moving forward. And the other thing I like that Crown here said, or excuse me, Royal Flush said, UC team had 11 or 10 players legitimately. We haven't had that in a while, and that's true.
That's yeah. I mean, yeah, and that's a quote that is solid and legit. Like we can actually go to our bench and we can be okay with that, and we can
Mhm.
have guys out there that we're not like, oh God, he's out there.
Right,
That's
right.
going to be a problem. I think
And
a lot. I hate to harp on the guy because he did have some really good moments at UC, but there was a lot of times where Chris Vogt was on the floor, and I'm like, why the hell is Chris Vogt on the floor? Like,
he
why is
got
he out
worse.
there?
He got
He got
worse from
worse.
his first year to his second year. First year, he
Yeah.
was a very good player, and he was really good. At one point, I think he had the highest field goal percentage in the nation. So
Mhm.
that was his first year. And the second year, it was a complete disaster. He regressed and went backwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's also the first game, so you take it for what it's worth. I think they'll get
Right.
a bigger, or obviously, have a bigger challenge coming Saturday versus Georgia. It's going to be an
Mhm.
SEC team,
Mhm.
but I'm just really excited, and for like you said, for an opening game, for it really to never be in the balance, that we thought we were
Mhm.
going to lose. We probably thought we were going to win the whole time. That's sorry, but that's Bob Huggin days. I mean,
Yeah.
when we come out and we dominated and we dominated with defense and
Mhm.
rebounding, and
Mhm.
that's the calling card of UC basketball.
Yeah.
And if you throw a little bit of offense into it, looks like Wes Miller has got some guys in there. Like Michael Davenport is really good. I like him a lot. Cincinnati kid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Jeremiah Davenport is going to step into this role that, you know, either even if he's ready for it or not, I mean, he kind of is. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the Jaron Cumberland, the guy that when we need a bucket, when it's all coming down to it, we are giving Jeremiah Davenport the ball. And I like that. I'm confident with saying that. And I like that he's our guy to do that. I want to go back to Mason Madsen just for a quick second. I just want to mention that, while he does shoot really good and he shoots a lot, he shoots good threes. He takes good shots. He
Mm-hmm.
takes shots that
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
uncontested, where the play is cleared out, where it's going to him.
And he
He
hits them in
is
rhythm.
the look. And then
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't hit every single one, but he's
No,
hitting the shots that he should. And I think that's a testament to the discipline that this team has and the discipline that Mason came in with. Because, if you look at last year, he did that same exact thing. And that's why he's so deadly on the floor. And that's why, having him come out there and then Mike Saunders, man, that dude's got
he
ice in his
is
veins. He's
fast.
so
Oh
fast.
my god,
I
he was
mean,
like a blonde blur on that couple of those drives to the basket.
yeah, I mean, it's almost like I'm looking at Justin Jefferson 2.0, and I think honestly, Mike Saunders is a better shooter, and I mean, if to compare him to Justin Jefferson, and as good as Justin was for UC, I would say, that's pretty damn good. I'm pretty excited about that. And I mean, and they're beating each other up all day in practice, and you know, then that's really good for Mike Saunders, who's somebody that's definitely not that tall. And shout out to the short kings out there. We're all here, but he's going against the 7 footers, and he's learning how to get around them. And
Mm-hmm.
that was a
Mm-hmm.
big thing for UC. And I was listening to Tony Pike today, and they were talking about that. Is that UC never really had a size advantage,
They do now.
during the last couple of years.
Hmm.
They do now. They
Yep.
do now. Right. And they just look bigger. They look,
Hmm.
more physical.
Well, that
And
was the thing back in the
yeah.
Huggins days. We used to be, like I said, we used to be the bullies on a block. We used to be bigger, faster, stronger than everybody, and we haven't really had that in a while.
Mhm.
Now, Arrow here wants to know, y'all are talking basketball, but can you tell me about the new UC football commits? I don't know much about them. Well, the one I got, this is from Bearcat Journal, the new Cincinnati quarterback Luther Richardson.
Richardson.
There you
Richardson.
go, Richardson. He's the newest quarterback coming
Mhm.
to the Bearcats. So that
Yep.
was
So
announced today. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So it's announced today, Luther Richardson, and he's kind of like he's kind of like a ghost. He doesn't have an Instagram, he doesn't have a Facebook, and the only thing he has is Twitter, and he's tweeted 3 times, and all three of them were recruiting. Two of them were highlight tapes, and one of them was his commitment. So it's really kind of hard to get a read on this guy. But I believe he's either a 3.5 or a 4 star. He's eclipsing that. I believe he's the 14th ranked QB either nationally or in the state of Tennessee. That's where he's coming from.
Yeah,
I really
Eastern
don't know
Tennessee.
much, but what I do know is when the Bearcats had Midnight Madness, where they had a lot of you know coming in, or Midnight Madness, where they had a lot of UC football commits coming
Recruits.
in,
Mhm.
recruits, and he threw like a 55-yard dot, and he laid it right in the bread basket. So I mean, everything I've heard is good. Royal Flush Terry, you're right. It's Justin Jennifer, not Justin Jefferson. You're right. You're 100% right. My fault. I apologize. You're right. You're
And
right.
Terry's got another one here. It says, does UC have the kid from Taft yet in their 2022 recruiting class? I honestly do not know. Do you got
I can't
any
remember.
info on that one?
No, I mean, I can't remember last time at Taft. I do know that Sage Tolentino, out of my neck of the woods from Hamilton, Ohio, who's originally from Hawaii, he just signed today. He's a 7 foot tall center. It shoots really well, and he's a playmaker. So
There
that's a
you go.
big get for UC.
Crypt Keeper says Wes Miller reminds me of the '89 Bob Huggins with the players who I had never heard of. Yeah, I like I said, it's only one game, so let's not overreact too much. But for a first game impression, I like what I saw, and the thing
Oh
I
yeah.
was impressed with was I didn't, as big as we were, I didn't think we picked the defense up. We didn't pick it up full court, but by half court, midway past half court, they were
Mhm.
picking it up. So I like that. So he's very defensive oriented, and like I said this before, that is a calling card for years
Yeah.
of UC basketball. Us UC fans are breaded to like that. That's our kind
Yeah.
of basketball. So, and that's what was
Yeah.
so frustrating for a lot of us Bearcat fans last year, watching the defense and how many times people ran right down the middle of the Bearcats and nobody did anything. And that wasn't happening last night. I mean, they were contesting every shot. I mean, Matson even got a block last night. Did you see that?
Yeah. Now I will say this: I missed a little bit of the game because I had to do it through a streaming service. I won't say which one, but I didn't have to pay for it. But it was really, really choppy. But I did see the Manson block, which was pretty nuts. And it's nice to see that come back because a lot of teams like or a lot of people like the scoring and they like a high scoring game, but we're bred to want the defense. That's what we do is defense. We rim protect, we shot block, and that's what this team did really well. And I'm excited to see where this goes. I'll be there on Saturday, so I'll be able to give a nice live take of it.
There you go. Jeff Anderson talking about the kid from Taft. Well, UC needs to recruit the kid from Taft. He's a top 10 recruit, same as the sophomore from, excuse me, Walnut Hills. Already has offers from UC, Xavier, Louisville, OSU. Needs to recruit from within our own city.
See, now Jeff Anderson made it himself a great point. Is that recruiting in our own city, winning
Mm-hmm.
our own city,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that Luke Fickle really harped on. But I
Absolutely.
always go back to now. I know this is 2 coaches ago, but I always go back to the story of Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes, who's now in the NBA, he might be out of the league. He might still be in. I honestly don't watch NBA that much.
Mm.
But Jackson Hayes, Moeller High School, went to Texas. And a lot of people were wondering, first round draft pick. And a lot of people were wondering, well, why did this guy not go to UC? And then Jackson tweeted out, he said, UC never even reached out to me. That was it. I always go back to that, and I always think that may have been one of the reasons why, we lowballed Mick to the point that we did.
Well,
We take recruiting very seriously here.
I have some little inside information on that. Mick, from people that I've talked to, only thought he could recruit certain people to come to the University of Cincinnati. He never went for the big recruits, which I don't understand why he did that because he was one of the reasons that Kenny Martin came here. Now, Kenny Martin was not a big time recruit. I mean, he's a big time recruit, but not go directly to the NBA guy until his senior year of college basketball. That's what I heard about with Mick, that he was he felt when he going to UCLA, he would have a bigger recruiting area and he could go after the top level guys that he couldn't go after as far as UC goes, which like I said, I don't agree with that. But the good thing with Wes Miller and the Bearcats moving into the Big 12, they can go recruit anybody they want.
Yeah. And Wes Miller has shown time and time again, especially in his days when he was at UNC Greensboro, that he's been able to recruit hard and recruit really, really well. I mean, we're already seeing it. I already mentioned it. They're the number 13. I'm getting a call. They're the number 13, recruiting class in the country right now, the 2023 draft or the 2023 recruiting class. I mean, so we're seeing a lot, and I understand it's one game. I get it, but I'm buying into the hype. Why not? Why not?
Exactly.
And UC's number 5. Like, I'm gonna buy into the hype that our basketball team's really good too.
Exactly. As Terry says, Jason Hayes is currently a backup center for the New Orleans Pelicans. So let's get into UC football. And they had the power rankings last night. And I said this yesterday. I said, Oklahoma didn't play. Oregon's still above us. I said, Michigan State lost. I think they move Ohio State up and they move us up. Now, the one I have a problem with, I think everybody else has a problem with, is why in the hell is Michigan above Michigan State? That doesn't make any sense at all because Michigan State beat Michigan, 2 weeks ago? So if winning matters, then why in the hell is Michigan? They said, well, we think Michigan's a better school. Well, obviously they're not because they got beat by Michigan State. But anyway, I'm happy. The door is still there for the Bearcats. I mean, we need Oregon to lose, and I think we need Oklahoma to lose, and we need Georgia to win out. If those 3 things happen, I don't think they can keep us out, but we'll see.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and I kind of looked at it. I looked at the Michigan State debacle, and I honestly just kind of chuckled. I think it's hilarious. I don't think either team is that good. I don't think either team belongs in 6 or 7 in actual talent. In actual talent, they aren't up there. I think UC would house both Michigan State and Michigan. That being said, and I think last night it provided quite a bit of hope for me. I can see the path a lot better here. Oregon is still a question mark. They have to go to Utah this weekend, which is going to be really difficult. The Utah team that just whooped Stanford's ass.
And I have to give Chad Breno credit for this. I heard this on his podcast. I think the running back for Utah is a former Bearcat. I wish I could remember his name right now. I can't. You're talking about that. I just remembered Chad Breno saying that on his podcast. And he's one of the best running backs in the country. How awesome, I'll say, would that be if that dude just balls out against Oregon and destroys them, and he's a former Bearcat and helps out the Bearcats.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm really hoping for it. And a lot of us, it's Tavion Thomas. Thank you, Jeff. Yes, that's who it is.
There it is.
Tavion Thomas. Yep. That's right. And it's just, and I love Tavion. I thought he was going to be really good. Obviously, he is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the running back room was just never going to work in his favor. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's going to happen this weekend that I think is going to really help UC. I mean, Bama barely beating LSU. Bama really doesn't scare me that much. I'll say that. I think Oregon at Utah is next week. Terry's on me. He's making sure I got my stuff right.
Exactly.
But I think Utah beats Oregon. I'm really not worried about that. Oklahoma has a tough road the rest of the way.
Well, they still got to go to Bedlam. I don't know if that's this week or that's next week.
Yep, they got to go to Bedlam. I believe they got to go to Baylor. They got a Big 12
Oh no,
championship.
Baylor's this week. Yeah, that's right.
Baylor's this
week.
week. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they got to go to Baylor, and then they also got to go to Oklahoma State. So we're going to see how good Oklahoma really is,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll go from there. Honestly, and obviously us as Bearcats fans, we got to be big Purdue Boilermaker fans this year.
Absolutely.
Or this week. #Boiler up. They helped us out last week. Hopefully, they can help us again. But the path became clear to me. I don't think the way I looked at it, I don't think it's really that far fetched to say that UC's got an incredible path. I mean,
Yeah,
instead of like 5 or 6 things having to happen, I would say like
Mhm.
maybe 1 or 2 things need.
Yeah, I mean, last night gave me hope. I'll put it to you that way because
Yeah.
I thought they should have moved up to 5.
Mhm.
I would not have been surprised if they kept us at 6, and I would have been
Mhm.
surprised if they jumped us.
Yeah.
I thought one of those two was more likely to happen than them actually moving us to 5. Now that, like I said, makes the path a little clearer. Like I said, if Oregon loses and Oklahoma loses, we still need we need Notre Dame to win it out every game. We need Notre Dame to have one loss, and that'd be against us.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just saying it's more clear. I gotta say, and I think honestly, a lot of it goes back to I think the committee is tired of Oklahoma. Oklahoma has done nothing but get their ass whooped. And I think they're just kind of tired of it, especially watching them play this year. They're not that good. They
Mhm.
should have lost to Texas. They should have lost to Kansas.
Mhm.
And I gotta say, and I'm saying this now, I don't think style points are as important as what they're being made out to be. I think at the end of the day, if UC goes 13-0, what's going to happen to them is going to be exactly what should happen. And we're gonna have the same amount of chances if we've blown these teams away. Because I always go back to, man, winning is hard in football. It's hard. That's why UC is 1 out of 4 out of 126 teams that are undefeated right now. 1 out of 4 out of 126. That's pretty damn impressive. Winning
Well,
is
the thing
hard.
is, too, they've done it for 2 years, and I know
Exactly.
I had Joe Damon on the show a couple weeks ago, and he brought this up. And I think it's a good point. Now we're dealing with human beings here that are making the college football playoff committee. We're not dealing with a
Mhm.
computer. Will these humans who are doing this, will they not have in the back of their mind going, are we really going to screw them 2 years in a row? Are we really going to, they went
Yeah.
they did everything they're supposed to do. They were undefeated last year. They're undefeated this year if they go undefeated the rest of the year. Are we
Mhm.
really going to screw them again? I mean, that's got to be that's got to come in there somehow
Yeah.
despite what the president of the committee said, that we haven't played anybody, and despite what
Mhm.
he said, the week
Right.
before. I just wonder if that actually comes into their thought process.
Right. Yeah. And Jeff Anderson made a good point in the comments, and it's something that's like incredibly true. Is Houston not being ranked
Mhm.
is not great. It's really not great.
Mm-mm.
If they could find a way to slip into the top 25 before we play them, that would be massive. But if they can find a way to be ranked, that's just another notch in the belt, and then that adds to our resume. But I think at the end of the day, like you need to just keep playing, and this Bearcat community, the fan base needs to stop picking apart wins.
Yes,
They need to stop because
me too.
if you keep doing it, you're gonna lose the joy of the season. These kids are already under enough pressure, and if you
Hmm.
watch how they play, and you watch, it's almost like and Mo Egger said this, and it's perfect. It's almost like they're trying to be perfect, which is pretty much impossible. And you just can't keep expecting this offense to keep churning out perfect, games because
Hmm.
they're not. They're gonna fumble. They're gonna drop passes. They're gonna miss blocks. They're gonna miss running lanes.
Well,
It
that's
just
something
is what it is.
I said too is a pressure on this team too, like you said, to be perfect is equivalent to the pressure of playing. In my mind, pressure is equivalent to playing an SEC schedule
Mhm.
because it's not. I'm not saying the talent is the same. It's the pressure because UC cannot make a mistake. You
Yeah.
know how hard it is to go through life every
Yeah.
day and not make a mistake. I make mistakes every single day of my life. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. You see
Eh,
me earlier this podcast, I was stumbling all over my words, and I'll do it for the rest of the podcast too.
I mean, and we expect these 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids to play a game and play it perfect with all this pressure on them, which they've done a hell of a job. They've
Yes.
they've done it done it better than anybody the last 2 years because in the regular season, they're the only team that hasn't lost a game. I mean,
That's correct.
literally, they for the last 2 years in the regular season, they're the only team that hasn't lost a game.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for a 56-yard field goal by Georgia, we would have won the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, right.
So,
Exactly. A 56-yarder by a freshman. Now, I am going to go back to Mike Denbrock's play calling on that specific third down. We won't talk about that. But you're right. I mean, this is the second year where UC has only lost one game in 2 years, and that one game is the Peach Bowl against this Georgia team that everybody agrees is far and away better than everybody else. So you got to give these kids a break, man.
mhm.
And it's they're not perfect, and for them to be 9-0 is a blessing. I remember when we were just begging to get into a bowl game. I remember kicking a field goal at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium against ECU to get the 6 freaking wins just to get our ass handed to us by San Diego State.
Dude, I remember Tim Murphy being the coach. Now, this is before you were even
Oh,
born.
Lord.
And you could almost walk into the stadium for free. There was nobody
Yeah.
wanted to go. So, yeah, I mean, I this is awesome. That's why you have to enjoy it. And it's, sometimes I find myself. 'Cause I look back to the 2008, 2009 teams,
Mhm.
and I find myself looking back on it and how much fun it was. And I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as I should have, because
Mhm.
we were more shocked, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe we're in the Orange Bowl. I can't believe we're in the Sugar Bowl. I can't believe this is happening. The problem with this year is Bearcat fans are expecting
Yeah.
to be in the college football playoffs. We're expecting
Mhm.
to be in these big games. We expect this. And
Mhm.
when you expect it, it puts out much more pressure on you. Like I said, I'm tired of watching us win and getting ticked off about it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to
Right.
do my best to just enjoy the wins.
Right.
Friday night we're playing South Florida. It should be a win. It's going to be nip at night. I wish I was going. It's going to be a lot of fun. Go there and enjoy it. And whatever
Yeah.
happens, happens. We can't control what happens. I mean, we can
Yeah.
bitch about it. We can complain about it. Josh can write articles about it on his new platform he has. But,
Hey, nice plug.
yeah, you're welcome. See, I'll slide that
Appreciate
right in
that,
there.
boss.
Yeah. We can do all that stuff, but that's all we can do.
Right.
That's it. So just try to enjoy what we have here. Because, I mean, honestly, we have a very good college football team, and we have a
Incredible.
better than expected NFL team right now.
Exactly.
And I know everybody's upset about the Bengals and the way they played on Sunday. I am too. They got their heads kicked in.
Yeah.
I mean, offense, defense, terrible. Joe Burrow had probably his worst game of the year,
Mhm.
but we're 5-4.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the rest of the schedule here, we got a shot at making this thing still. I mean,
Oh, yeah. You're right.
let's check this thing out. I got the schedule. Hang on a
Well,
second.
So I mean, when going to the Bengals now and just talking about how they have, they still have so much left in front of them, and
Mhm.
everything is still left in front of them. I mean,
Exactly.
you're going to the bye week. Okay, so 6 of your remaining 8 games are going to be at home. You're 2-1 in the division. Those 2 division wins are at Baltimore and at Pittsburgh. You're 5-4. You got a chance to, and this bye could not have come in a better time. They
Absolutely.
get the bye. They can go. They can look at their mistakes. They can get away from the game for a little bit, which is kind of looks like this is something that this defense really needed. And we know that this team is better than we have been in the past 2 weeks. But think about this: the parity in the NFL is incredible.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I just want to let you know, for as bad as the Bengals played, and as pissed as we are at them, how pissed do you think Buffalo fans are at their team?
Right.
You know what their game was? They
Mhm.
lost 9-6 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Urban Meyer led Jacksonville Jaguars. This Bills team that was supposed to go to the Super Bowl lost. This Josh Allen, who people are already putting him in the can now, only put together 6 points. I understand, and I think a lot of it had to do with the nature of the losses. Those losses sucked.
Mhm.
Giving up 11
Well,
points.
yeah, the Jets
run-point
one.
lead.
I mean, we
Yeah.
all know we should have won that one.
That should have been a win.
That should have been a win. I mean, the thing, the Browns one, we were never in it. I mean, we just
Right.
never were. I mean, I know
Yeah.
we drove down in the second drive and scored right away. We were just never in it. And yeah,
No.
Blackthorn.
No.
I didn't put it up there. Where'd it go?
Yeah. It's
Louisiana.
just
Cheeto has
yeah. So
COVID, so yeah, we got to keep him in our prayers. And kind of a good thing he has it now.
Yeah,
Bye
it's a
week.
great thing.
Hopefully he'll be better, and
Mhm.
he can roll on to
Yeah.
the Raiders game. Good.
Yeah, right, yeah. And it's just look, the NFL is such a week to week league, and it's hard. It's hard when you start building these expectations. So you go back to the beginning of the year, and I being optimistic, and this was think about this. I said they were going to go 10-7, and that was a incredibly high ceiling.
Yeah,
Everybody was
I had
saying,
it at 11-6. So yeah,
yeah, right, eleven
like I
and
said,
six.
I look at things through orange colored sunglasses. So
Exactly, exactly. But most were calling 8 wins, 7 wins. That was,
Mhm.
and we were like, oh, we'll be happy with that. Fast forward to 7 weeks later, you're 5-2. You just blew out Baltimore. Now everybody's calling you the first the first team in the NFL, or not first team
AFC.
in the NFL. Yeah, first team in the AFC. You're gonna get the 1 seed. So the goalpost keeps moving back and forth. So we got to just regress our expectations, and we got to again. You're 5-4. 2 of those wins are in the division. Everything is right there.
Oh yeah.
Everything is right there. And this we know that this Bengals team is going to get it together, and they're going to be putting together a much better back half of the season. We know this. We
I
know
mean,
this.
if you really look at the back half of the season, I like when I first did this, I thought that the back half was going to be a lot harder than the front half.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of wins there. I think we can. I
Yeah.
think we can beat the Raiders. I think going into Pittsburgh is going to be hard. I'm not saying we can't do it, but I do think that one's going to be hard. The
Yeah.
Chargers, that's a winnable game. The 49ers, that's a winnable game. The Broncos, that's a winnable game. Ravens, we'll see. And then you got Kansas City. Those are all
Winnable.
ones that are winnable games. And then you got the Browns, which we got to get. That's a revenge game.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of winnable games on the schedule. And people ask me on Twitter yesterday, what makes you think that they can do that and then get back to what they were doing? I said the Ravens game. We dropped 41 on them. They've only lost
Right.
2 games. One of the games they
Right.
lost was to us.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. And we kind of talked about it on Monday. Just what makes you believe that? It's how good they played in that Ravens game. It's how good that they've played over the span of 7 weeks. They played top level football. They were
Mhm.
in the top. They were number 1 in the AFC. They were for a week.
Mhm.
Now it came crashing down, but it doesn't mean we can't build it right
Yeah.
back up. There's nobody in the AFC that you can look at. Oh, damn, my mic. There's nobody in the AFC that you can look at and be like, yeah, that team is a bona fide champion, or
Yeah,
they're going to
not
go to
on,
the AFC championship game. I
right.
mean, who
Not
could you
on our
think of?
schedule right here. I mean, who on our schedule goes, "Oh my goodness, yeah, who really scares you?"
No,
I mean, the
none.
Browns don't even, I know the Browns kicked their ass, but they still don't scare me.
No,
I mean,
right.
I think honestly, I think the 3 hardest games would be the 3 in our division. I really do
Mhm.
think that those are the 3 hardest
Yeah.
ones.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Terry's got a good comment here. Oh, I've been wanting to bring this up. At Pittsburgh might have the best defense out of the remaining opponents, which is great signs for our offensive woes. Yeah, and that's the thing
Mhm.
too. It's not like we have juggernauts that we're playing here. I mean,
Mhm.
like I say, you got the Raiders.
Well,
I won't say they're in shambles, but they got a lot of stuff going on there.
yeah.
That is a winnable game. The Chargers are not as good as everybody thought they were. The 49ers, it
Yeah.
depends on which quarterback they play and what it does. And Denver's been a dumpster fire, let's be honest.
Yeah,
And then we already
but
know
that dumpster fire. But think about this: that dumpster fire just whooped Dallas's ass. Right? It was Dallas, right? They beat
yeah, I think
somebody
so.
really
Yeah.
good. I think it was
Yeah,
Dallas. Yeah,
I think it was Dallas.
that's the parody of the league.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. So we need to, and I think a lot of it. I believe a lot of this overreaction came from how the losses came about. Obviously, the 11 giving up 11 points to the Jets, and then getting your ass whipped by
But
Cleveland, which nobody wants to
we
do.
never should have lost to the Jets. That
No.
one is almost inexcusable. They should not
Yeah.
have lost to them. The Browns are a good team. I mean, I hate to
Yeah.
say it, but they
Oh,
are. Their offensive line
so
is better than ours. Their defensive line is better than ours. They are. They're a good team.
yeah.
But I don't want to hear Baker Mayfield was dominant. Baker Mayfield was
No.
not dominant. I mean, he
No,
played
Nick
good.
Chubb was.
Nick
Yeah.
Chubb was dominant.
Nick
Yes.
Chubb was. That
Yeah.
defense, and their defense was stout, and they
Yeah.
had an answer, and we did not. We made a lot of mistakes. They didn't. They played a sound football game. We didn't, and that's where it shows on the score. But just to say that, like, the game is toast, and it's or the season's over and we got no
No,
chance to
far from over, man.
it's that's total
Well,
BS.
it's like I said on
Yeah.
Monday, the fans moved the goalpost.
Yes, they
That's the
do.
thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm as guilty as anybody. I'm like, hey, we're number one in the division. Let's go. Let's stay up there. Of course. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what we all wanted to do.
Right. I
Arrow here
talked a
says,
lot of trash.
so I said this to Dale. Dale's the guy that sits in between me and Arrow at the stadium there.
Oh, nice.
So I said
Shout
this to
out Dale.
Dale. The loss could actually be a blessing in disguise. Imagine trying to keep up the perfect conference record the later half of the year. If we were to win, take the L, and whatever, move on. Oh,
Right.
here and learn. Here you go, and learn from the bye week. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's the thing. I'm like, one thing kills me is they got us like last place in our own division, which that drives me nuts because like we have one division loss, but we're in last place. Which
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah.
I understand the winning percentage and all that stuff, but
Sure.
that's still it's still irritating.
Oh, yeah. It's very irritating. Man, we sound terrible. God, man, we need
You can't make me laugh, Josh. You make me cough.
God, it's
All
terrible.
right, Josh. Well, dude, like I said, that was a long weekend. That
Yeah.
was a long weekend. So
We had a
think
lot
that's
going
what got
on,
me.
man.
All right, Josh. Speaking of Rick Menner, can you write something about the coaches he had on his staff? Wow, the coaches on Rick Menner's staff were something special. Yeah, two
Yeah,
of
they
them
were.
are coaches, head coaches in the NFL in our own division.
Got right, exactly. Got Jimbo Fisher, Mike Tomlin, freaking It was
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh, right?
Yeah,
Harbaugh. My God, yeah.
Mhm.
That Rick Mentor staff was just ridiculous.
Well,
Eh,
the thing that was what I remember when Rick was the coach here. We could never keep anybody.
Nah, right.
And I kept wondering if it was Rick or the coaches didn't get paid enough or what it was. We never could keep any of our assistant coaches.
Right.
And then Terry says Denver dominated Dallas.
Yeah, right. It
Jerry's
was Dallas.
$1 billion house. So yeah, you were right.
Yeah, and a team, a Dallas team that everybody was calling Super Bowl, and everybody's calling that they'll at least go to the NFC Championship game, and they're going to be competing with the Rams. And the Rams just recently had a bad loss. They might have had, I believe it was this week, didn't they? Didn't they lose this week?
Yes, they did. Yes, they
Most
lost too.
positive, yeah.
There's a lot of teams that lost this week.
Exactly.
Now I hate saying must wins, but I do agree with Jeff. I do think this Raiders win is a must win coming off the bye because you got the Steelers right after that, so it's really hard. It's gonna be really hard. It's gonna be hard to win in Pittsburgh. I don't care. That's why I have it a loss originally.
Pittsburgh's coming back here.
Oh, it's here. That's right. Never mind. It's here. It's home here. But it's still hard to beat them, and they have their defense back together now. I know Claypool is out, but this is 2 weeks from now. So I think coming out of the bye is going to be a big statement of where this team is
For sure.
at. Because I mean, there's been, and this used to drive me nuts with Marvin Lewis. How many times will we lose a game going into the bye, then we lose the game coming out of the bye? We did that a lot with Marvin Lewis. So I'm hoping that that this changes and we can get this win coming out of the bye against the Raiders.
Yeah, and you go into Las Vegas, a brand new stadium. You can go in there. A lot of Bengals fans are going to be traveling there, so you should have a good amount of Bengals there. And then you go in hungry, and the connection in this locker room is there. You know what I mean? You can see it. You can see that there is really no, finger pointing. There's not a massive, coming together and get mad at each other and all that. And so I do think that they'll be fine coming out of the bye. Saying a must win is tough, but I will say this: going on a 3-game losing streak is tougher.
Right. That's what I say, because you're coming off a 2-game losing streak. You don't want to turn it into a 3-game losing streak. Then you drop down to 500 on your record. That's a big thing. So I really do think coming out with a win is huge.
Yes.
Terry says, has Jesse Bates played at a max contract level in your opinion?
Yes. This is a great question, because
this year,
earlier today.
This year, my opinion, he's played good, but not to the level he played last year.
No.
So no, he hasn't played to that level, but I still think he deserves that contract. If he gets it, great. Or at least he deserves to be up there with them. But he has not played to that level this year yet.
Well, okay, so I mean, this is one I've been banging around my head for quite a while. Is that Jesse Bates has just not been that playmaker, that elite guy that we all know that he can be and has been at that level. And I really kind of hate to say this, but it's almost like that the Bengals front office did a good job and didn't extend him, because now if he keeps playing like this through the rest of the year, his contract salary is going to go down, and his value is going to go down, and he's not going to get that much more money because of this year. Now, I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong, and I would love for the Bengals front office to be wrong and for Jesse Bates to absolutely go off and return. But he's only had one interception this year. He did not look good against the Cleveland. He's just kind of been all right. That's just kind of what he's been. But we know that that's not Jesse Bates. We know that he is a top level talent in the NFL. He's an elite level talent. So he's one guy that you want to watch coming out of the bye, and you want to watch how much or how much how shoot how many steps forward he's taken.
Mhm.
Because he needs to be that guy. Because we have a Jamar Chase on offense, we don't have one on defense.
Exactly. Well, that's another thing. Jamar Chase has went backwards the last 2 games too, as well. So for him, that he's got to figure some stuff out now. This is why I love Terry. Terry always has some really cool stuff on here. He says no home team has won a division game in the AFC North so far. That's interesting. Which that is interesting. I did not realize that. So
I didn't know
I mean,
either.
we'll find. Maybe the Bengals will be the first one when they beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you got Pittsburgh in 2 weeks. So yeah. And so I mean, and the Raiders aren't going to be a pushover. Derek Carr's
No.
he's still a really good quarterback. They have a solid team, but I mean, they just got a lot going on. So I mean, it may be put out easier than what it's not going to be. That this win isn't going to be easy. It's going to be tough, and but I mean, they can do it, and I got full belief in them. I think they're going to go 5-3 down the rest of the stretch. I think they're going to get 10-7, and that's going to be enough to make the playoffs. They might even go 6-2.
I mean, the thing is, you just want to get to the playoffs. Everybody calls it the tournament now. If you get in and you have Jackpot Joey Burrow as your quarterback,
right?
You never know what's going to happen. But that's the thing moving forward with this team, especially this year, until we get more talented players in the next couple of years. This team goes as Joe goes. If Joe has a bad game, this team's going to have a bad game. Joe, they're relying on him so much to take care of the deficiencies on this team, right. And that's just the way it is. I mean, that's just the way the team is built right now. And next year, I think a lot of that is going to get fixed up, but we're not there yet.
Sure.
So that's a big key. Joe has to come out and play at an elite level. And if he's not playing at an elite level, we're going to see what we saw the last 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, because honestly, this team is good, but they're not good enough to where Joey B can have a really bad game like he did on Sunday and still expect to win. Man, dude, we sound terrible. But you can't be the guy. Joe Burrow can't have a bad game and for us to expect him to win. This team isn't good enough to pick everything up around him, because Joe Burrow really does elevate everybody else around him. That's how good he is.
Yes.
And listen, and this is no hate on Joe Burrow. He's the savior of the franchise. I hope he's here for the next 15 years.
Absolutely.
He's gonna win a Super Bowl. However, right now, he's still really young, and he's still got a lot going. I mean, he's still got a lot to grow from.
Man, these microphones transfer germs right through them. It's shocking.
I tell you what, man, something's in the air.
I'm gonna get to Dave's comment here. It says Bearcats should still be number 2. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, the thing is they're still number 2 in the AP. So I'm that's the coaches and media and all that. That's who voted on that. So I agree with you, Dave. I mean, unfortunately, they're not. But we talked about this earlier in the show that with them moving the Bearcats from 6 to 5, I actually it gave me a little bit more hope. That there is a path for the Bearcats to do this. Now, like I said, the Bearcats we need Georgia to win out, which I think Georgia's going to win out. We need Oklahoma, we need Oregon to lose, and the Big Ten is going to take care of itself. Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan, they're all going to play each other.
Right.
we need the Pac-12 and the Big 12 to lose, so they're not in. So I don't have to worry about them. So that's the path for us getting in, I think.
I don't think I'll be honest, I don't think Oklahoma losing right now is really that big of a deal. I'm telling you, I don't think this committee trusts Oklahoma anymore.
Well, who are they going to jump over them?
Right. I don't
Well,
think.
I
I
mean,
don't think
if
they'll jump
it's not
over.
Oklahoma, then who? Because you got to watch behind you. There's somebody behind the Bearcats
Mhm.
that they're just waiting to jump over us.
Yeah.
If
So right
it's
now,
not Oklahoma, who do you think it'll be?
well, I hope. Well, here's what we're hoping. We're hoping that the one that is in our rearview mirror is going to be Notre Dame, and that's exactly what we need. We need Notre Dame to be that buffer right behind us, because then, I mean, having a team jump an undefeated Bearcats team is really tough for the community to do. Having them have two
They
teams
did it
jump.
last year.
I know they did it last year, but that was last year. This is a much different Bearcats team, and this is a team that did that last year and took Georgia down to the wire. And there you go. Yeah, F division sign CK Georgia. Yeah, I'm with this guy. I am
Yeah,
with you,
I
Dave.
like Dave. Dave, you're new to the show.
We're
At
the
least as far as
optimist.
I know.
Yeah.
Make sure you go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, man, because you commented on Facebook. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and listen, Oregon isn't good enough to
Oh, there you
really
go.
Oregon isn't good enough. Oklahoma
There,
State
Terry.
will jump Oklahoma once they beat them. Yeah, they'll jump
Mhm.
Oklahoma. I think if Oklahoma loses, I think that's it for the Big 12. There is no one that's going to get in there unless there is massive chaos.
How many
And that would
losses?
include the Bearcats losing.
How many losses does Oklahoma have? Do they have one or they have none?
Zero. They have zero. They have
So
zero.
if
They should have two, but
if no, the Oklahoma State. Sorry, not Oklahoma.
Oklahoma
Oklahoma
State has
State.
one loss. Oh, Oklahoma
Okay.
State has one loss.
Okay. So I don't see them jumping. I don't see
No.
them. If you have two Big 12 schools with one loss, I don't see them jumping the Bearcats. So
No.
that would help right there. But
Right.
the ones that the big scenario that I keep talking about scares me is Jeff. They love, because we know they love Alabama. You know,
I love them.
if Alabama, for some reason, which I don't think they're going to, somehow beats Georgia in the SEC title game, we're screwed. I think, because both of them are going to get in. If they beat, because Georgia's getting in. Unless Georgia goes and loses the rest of their games, which I don't see that happening at all. If Alabama beats Georgia, Georgia and Alabama are in.
Well,
That's
okay,
to me,
yeah.
that's the worst case scenario. Then you got the Big Ten school. So then you got three of them. You got Big 12, Pac-12, and the Bearcats. What do you do then?
Well, okay. So yeah, I mean that would be worst case scenario. But for that to happen, Oregon would have to go undefeated, which they just aren't going to do. I don't think this Oregon team. I mean, if you've watched them, and you know, I have nothing else to do on my Saturday, so I pretty much just stay up real late and watch Pac-12 football. You really watch them, you can tell this team is not the number 4 team in the country. It just isn't. And I'm not talking about style points or like the Bearcats making mistakes and keeping inferior opponents in the ball game. Oregon needs to fight and scrap just to win, like just to keep up with incredibly inferior. I mean, inferior opponents. I always go back to that Cal game where they played, and my God, like they it was within a score like the entire game, and Cal probably should have won that game. They got to go to Utah, who just whooped Stanford's ass, who beat Oregon. So I think even if that would happen, and even if Alabama beat Georgia, let's just say Alabama beat Georgia. So there's your 2 spots in the SEC.
Right.
One spot is going to be reserved for the Big Ten champion.
Mm-hmm.
And then, unless that Big Ten champion is a 2-loss team, which could happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's one spot open. And right now, the University of Cincinnati is at number 5. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we slide right in. I think they would still give us the nod. But there's a lot of football to be played.
Exactly.
There's a lot going to happen. So, I mean, I think if the Bearcats just focus on winning and enjoy it, and we're not picking apart the wins, and we're just kind of sitting there and enjoying it. Now, Desmond Ritter's got to play a lot better. I understand he's got a lot going on. He's got the weight of the team on his back. He's got, he's a brand new dad, and now he's got all this national media and all these expectations, and it's going to be big. This run defense, it needs to get it together, and I think a lot of it has to do with Mike Tressel. I think Mike Tressel, he's had some schemes that have been incredible. His scheme against Notre Dame shut the Irish offense down pretty much the entire game. But it allows for teams to run on us, which doesn't really make any sense, because I feel like we would be a lot better, and the Bearcat defense would be a lot better, is if they put another lineman down or they focus more on the run and let our 2 All-American corners go to work.
Right.
Because they're All-American corners. Ahmad Gardner is probably going to be picked within the top 15 in terms of draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant will be drafted, whether it's late second round, early third round. But this is a so if they can short, yeah, sorry,
Your
if they
turn.
can shore up this run game or this run defense, if Desmond Ritter can just calm down, let his playmakers go to work and just do what he does best, which is play football
Yeah,
and play football in a fun way.
Dez has got to get more consistent. When he's consistent and he's on,
Yeah,
he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football.
yeah,
I agree with what you're saying as far as run stop. I've always wondered if they, which would put a hole in the middle, but I think the Bearcats could cover if you bring DeBlanco up and
hmm
put him up
yeah,
there closer to the line of scrimmage to say you're not running on us, and like you said, put Sauce and Kobe on an island. I think that could be a way to do it. It seemed like
absolutely.
that's what they did toward the end of the Tulsa game. They brought DeBlanco up and were trying to plug the hole that way.
Yep.
But they have to figure something out because unfortunately Navy figured something out. Ever since the Navy game, that's when they've been having this problem. So they
Right.
got to figure that out for sure moving forward. And the Bearcats have they need to have a complete game. I mean, even the
hmm
Notre Dame game, I don't know, was a complete game. It was as close to a complete game as they've had this year. But ever
Yeah.
since then, they haven't had a complete game. We've had quarters. Like Tulsa, we won the first and third, and Tulsa won the second and fourth. And that's what
mhm,
Jim Kelly said. I give him the credit for it. And he's right. And it's like we
Right.
get out on them, and it's almost like, okay, we're going to stop playing now. Like, no, 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 no. This is the biggest game on that school's schedule this year.
Right.
They're bringing everything they have. The Bearcats need to not take the pedal off the gas and keep executing and keep moving forward and make the right plays
mhm.
and just that it just seems like they just let off the gas to me.
Yeah, right, and that's something that to take into consideration. They do let off the gas a little bit. I think they go into a preventative style. Okay, we're in front. They got to win out. Yep, 100%. UC has to win out without a doubt. But they almost like we go up and we kind of go into this preventative defense. I understand it when it's working. However, you're not dominating teams because on top of that, on top of the style points, I heard some mention of this earlier on the Tony Pike show. Forget proving ourselves to the committee. How about to ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
How about UC to themselves? Because prove to yourself that you're good enough to be able to go out and dominate teams. And keeping your foot on the gas. And that's not trying to impress anybody. It's trying to impress yourself and you impress your teammates. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
I mean, they kind of had that even at the first game of the year. I went to the first game of the year. Was it Murray State or I can't remember who was the first game of the year, but the first quarter they played
Miami, I think,
terrible.
right?
Was
Yeah.
what was it?
It's
Who was
either
it?
Miami or Murray State. They're
It was
interchangeable.
Miami. I think it was Murray. I think it was Murray State. I think that's who it was. But anyway,
One of them, yeah.
I went to that game. I didn't go to the Miami game. I went to the other one.
Mm. Oh,
So the first quarter was they played terrible, and all
yeah.
of a sudden the second half came out and they blew their doors off.
Yeah.
But that's what it's been like all year. That's where, like, you want to get to the college football playoffs, or you want to get to a New Year's Six bowl game, you can't play like that. Which I
Mhm.
don't think they will. I think they'll be up for it. And I mean, the one thing you got to look at this way too is are they getting bored with this? You know, is that kind of contemplation? The right word is
I haven't heard your sentence yet.
is that setting in yet? You know, is that are they content with where they're at? You know, are they getting bored with
Yeah.
the teams they're playing?
Um, I think, I guess to a degree, maybe I don't, but personally, I don't think so. I think this team knows they're striving for more and they're striving for past this. I mean, why do you think Clemson has done it for so many years? Playing dog shit ACC and then coming through and somehow finding a way to get it done in the national championship and in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the thing is that I understand your point because there is some valid to it because you know, getting up for those games, like, okay, we're getting up for Tulsa. That's kind of hard. That is kind of hard to do, but Tulsa
Mm-hmm.
can do that to us. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're going to play Cincinnati. We're going to play the
It's
number
the
five
biggest
team
game
in
of
the
the
country.
year for them. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, where you mentioned it. And we're getting everybody Super Bowl. However, the thing is that I feel like Luke Fickle will keep harping in everybody's ear is that enjoy winning, focus on right now, and focus on the game in front of us. And it'll eventually work itself out. So, yeah, I can understand that point, but I'll say this: I think this team is going to be just fine. I think they are going to win out, and I think I expect us to be in the playoff.
Yeah, I think we're going to win out, and I hesitate to say I expect us to be in the playoffs because I still, in the back of my mind, think they're going to screw us.
Yeah,
I hope I'm
that's
wrong,
valid.
but that's all just because that's for my own mental state,
Yeah.
because if I'm expecting it and they screw us, I'm going to be so depressed and so pissed off. So
Right.
I do expect us to be in a New Year's Six bowl. I'm hoping like crazy we'll get into the college football playoffs. But Josh, it is 6:30, and you have helped me out through both of us coughing through this whole
Ugh,
this whole show.
terrible.
So I apologize to everybody listening to us and listen to the two sick boys talking on the podcast here. But Josh, tell everybody about your podcast and your new articles and all that stuff you got coming out.
Hey everybody! All right, so you can find me always the Back Row Bengals show on Apple Podcasts or anywhere where you find your podcast. You definitely go follow me at Back Row Bengals on Twitter, and then also right now I am just started brand new writing articles for Stripe Hype. So go over there on Twitter, and it's a part of fansided.com. If you go on fansided.com, you can find a brand new article. It's called the peaks in the peaks in the valleys, a Cincinnati football week, and it details exactly the peak of being at College Game Day all the way to the spiral downward to the abysmal performance against the Browns. That's by me, and the views really help out and sharing them out. So if you guys please go over there and give it a look. Again, and there's going to be, if you want to hear more UC football talk later tonight at 7:45, we're going to have another Back Row Bengals show, but instead we are going to be doing a college football playoff special edition. So we're
You
going
and
to
your
be talking
brother, right?
Bearcats. Yep, it's going to be me and my brother. He'll freaking leech. But
Now he wants
we're
to
going
be
to be
on.
going on there. Yeah, he wants to be on it. And it was good. It was,
No,
it was good. So
you guys did good the other day. I watched you.
it wasn't bad. Well, thank you. Yeah, so go give it a watch, and it'll be really fun. And then we also one more, and I know I'm going on a long time here. Sorry about that, Iceman.
You're
But
good.
earlier today had Mo Egger on to analyze the Bengals and talked a little bit about UC, but a lot Bengals. So go down there and check it out. Thank you all so much for listening and listening to us. Sorry about all the coughing and all the phlegm and
Exactly.
stuff. It's disgusting. I get it.
All right, Josh. Appreciate you, brother, as always. Who day?
Jeff, you're the man. I'll see you later, brother.
I did. See you. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Sorry, coughing again. Try not to cough, but it is what it is. Now, tomorrow's show, I have a very special guest. He's gonna be Alex Meacham, and if you are a Bearcat fan at all, you know who Alex Meacham is. He was on the. I'm pretty sure he was on the '99 team. I know he was coached by Bob Huggins. He, as he says on his podcast, they had the Jordan brand jerseys, the original ones with the sea paw on the back of their jerseys. It was awesome. That was when Bearcat basketball was at its height of being the baddest dudes on the block. So I love that time. And I've been working on this for a couple months to try to get Alex on here. So I appreciate him. So make sure you guys, if you guys are Bearcat fans, please check out the show tomorrow with Alex Meacham. Now, we'll get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And as always, I appreciate every single one of you. You got Who Day Nation, Who Day Legion, Cincinnati Reds riding third, heading for home, Bearcat Ruckus, Bearcat Country, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trenopole. TikTok is at Iceman90. I will be pulling off the sound later on tonight. Anchor let me upload it yesterday, so I hope you guys got to listen to my podcast. Hopefully, Anchor will let me do it again, and I can upload it. If they do, it's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Give me a 5-star review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. YouTubers, like I said, we're at 1,415 subscribers. That is awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I'm trying like crazy to get up to 2,000 subscribers by the time the Super Bowl rolls around. So if you're watching me on Facebook or Twitter and you have not subscribed to my channel, please go to YouTube and Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the bell for the subscription and hit the button for the notifications. And every time I go live, you'll be notified. And other than that, I got to get out of here before my voice totally collapses. As my boy, Jeremy D likes to say, remember one thing and one thing only, And that is, you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati, so act like it. Who Dey? All right, this see ya part's gonna be kind of hard, but let's try it. Oh my goodness. And that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Let's go. Stripes, 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 stripes. Yeah, stripes, stripes, stripes. Yeah, stripes, stripes, stripes. Yeah. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who Dey, we ignite and stripes. Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. Who Dey when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle drippin' heat, tigers stripe the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' who Dey, time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who Dey in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who Dey muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. Who Dey when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move crossing on? Stripes. Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em, bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast on feastin' on 'em. Who Dey rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who Dey, we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and